Welcome back to Level Up Kitchen, where I, Cameron Holt, am trying to level up my cooking skills. Today's quest is a cinnamon crunch bread, and no one can stop me, cause I'm home alone. And I'm only a little sad about it. Today's recipe starts with a buttermilk base, and I don't have any buttermilk, but what I do have is regular milk and cream of tartar. I'm told I can create buttermilk by adding 1 3/4 teaspoons of this to this, and mixing it up, I guess, and then it becomes buttermilk. I don't know what this even is or how it works. Oh, come on, my teaspoon. Let me do this over the sink. There's 1 teaspoon in the milk. 1, 2, 3/4. It doesn't get much more mixed than that. Made a mess. Oh no. And then I guess we let this sit for 5 minutes and it magically becomes buttermilk. I hope that's true. 1/4 cup of sugar to be divided. I don't want to do that. Okay, so this is dumb. It wants me to add 2 tablespoons of this. I should have just measured out 2 tablespoons and then put 2 more in this cup, because 4 tablespoons is 1/4 cup. Now you know. Hopefully this yeast is still alive. It's pretty old, but I guess that's why we're doing this. We'll find out. 1, 2, and 1/4. Unfortunately, I'm a fool, and I only need a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, and I made a full cup. Like a dingus. But that's okay. I'm gonna be doing a lot of baking. Maybe I'll make some buttermilk biscuits or something next. Let me know in the comments what I should make with buttermilk, but only a 1/2 cup. I assumed it would be chunkier. Maybe I did it wrong. We'll find out. I'm gonna take the milk and the water over to the stove and heat them until they get to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. While I'm heating the milk, I'm gonna keep stirring and agitating it pretty constantly so that it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pan, because milk has pretty high fat content most of the time, depending on what percentage you get, and I don't want it to burn because that would suck. It's actually a little bit warmer than 110 degrees. It's like 113, so I'm gonna set it here on this nice granite countertop for a second and let it cool down a little bit while I stir and inevitably get impatient. Put it in anyway. Good luck to me and the yeast. May you thrive in your milky, milky prison. Everyone can get to know each other and the yeast can start eating that sugar. And then I guess I'll be back in 5 minutes again to see if it's frothing. That pure Irish unsalted butter. It doesn't have the convenient markings that stick butter does, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. I need 5 tablespoons. I'm certain there's a better way to do this, but I don't know it. So here we go. I guess we'll just like shloop like so. Oh no, not the butterfingers. Right through the paper on that one. I don't know why I did a Scottish accent with this Irish butter. Right through the paper on that one. That's offensive. I shouldn't do it that way. For purest, Irishest butter there's ever been. We want to melt this butter and let it cool. Irish butter was definitely the way to go. It even smells better. Oh, an egg at room temperature every time. That'd be a silly thing to do. Yeah. Am I gonna do it anyway? I was thinking to myself, what if I just put this egg, which I didn't like get to room temperature like I was supposed to, what if I just put it like an ice cube in the warm butter that I'm trying to cool down, and maybe it'll cancel out. But that sounds messy and I don't like messy things. This is looking nice and frothy in there. I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can. Now we're gonna add the remaining sugar, the butter, egg. Check this out. Okay, I'm gonna go doing it long ways again. But don't let that stop you. Even you can one-handed egg. Teaspoon of salt and 1 cup of flour. Bread flour. I accidentally put in all-purpose flour. I'm supposed to be using bread flour, but it should be fine. I only put in 1 cup of the 3-ish cups that we're gonna need. So we're gonna use bread flour for the rest, and hopefully it'll be fine. God, these things are heavy. Get out of here. Fly, you're ruining my cooking show. People are gonna think I live in a dirty kitchen because there's flies in it. But it's just because a guy with dementia lives here. He doesn't know how to close the door. Technically the instructions are to beat it, which makes me think I should use the whisk attachment, but I don't want to have to clean that. That's so much work. We're gonna beat this on low speed for about 30 seconds. Then we're gonna scrape down the sides and add the remaining flour. First we plug in the machine. Low speed, 30 seconds. All right, that's pretty beaten, I would say. We're gonna scrape down the sides with the spatch. If I'm not mistaken, the difference between bread flour and all-purpose flour is that bread flour has more protein in it, which I guess lends itself to a better gluten structure maybe. But again, not a surgeon. Now we're gonna beat it on low speed until the dough comes together and pulls away from the sides of the bowl. Allegedly about 2 minutes. In my experience, it's usually more than that. Okay, messy, messy kitchen. All right, it's starting to come together, but it's definitely not pulling away from the side, so I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. I'd say she's pulled away from the sides quite a bit. The dough hook. We're gonna knead the dough with the dough hook for 5 full minutes. It's still a little sticky on the bottom, so I am gonna add an extra teaspoon of flour just to see if that'll help. Probably gonna watch that back and realize how terrible I am at throwing it back. It's gonna hurt my self-esteem, but we posted anyway. That's been about 5 minutes. Still feels nice and wet, but not too sticky, so that's a good sign. I'm gonna give it a good poke. If it bounces back a little bit, then we'll know that it's ready. You should see this too. What have I done? Oh no, I'm indecent. There she is in all her glory. I'm gonna give her a little poke. Boop. Yeah, I don't think she's really bringing back at all. Let's do the window pane test. Thin as a window pane without tearing. We're close, but I am seeing some tearing down here. I don't think that she's ready, so we're gonna knead it for another couple minutes. While that finishes kneading, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare the bowl that it's going to do its first rise in. Give it a little grease, baby. You ever say something and instantly regret it seconds later? This is looking a lot better, I say arbitrarily, not really knowing exactly what it should look like. I can see the light through it, and yet it is not tearing. She's done, baby. Oops, okay. Geometry. Now, they don't have listed that there should be any sort of shaping method before the first rise, but I think that's wrong. If I do have any XP when it comes to cooking, it is in bread making. I have a wonderful cookbook from King Arthur that I'm not sponsored by, but if you see this, hit me up. Probably I should put some flour down. Just a little sprinkle of bread flour. Flatten her out a little bit, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab it and pull it into the center, do a little spherical shaping, flip it over, use the table and the friction to make a beautiful little ball. I'm gonna put this in top first, because what I'm gonna do is plop it down in the bowl that's been greased, and then we're gonna spin it all around and make sure that we get grease on all sides. Plastic shower cap. Way easier to put on your bowls. It's got that kind of fluff to it so that it's not gonna sink down as much and touch your dough. And now we're gonna proof this for its first rise for 1.5 to 2 hours. In this recipe, they say that they leave theirs out on their kitchen counter and it goes for 2 hours. It's getting late here, so I want this to go a little faster. So I'm gonna show you a fancy way that you can make your own proofing drawer, even if you don't have a proofing drawer. I've got some water going in the kettle. While that heats up, I've taken a pan, put it on the second rack of the oven, and then I've got my covered bread on the top rack. All right, the kettle is well boiling, and we're just gonna pour it right into the pan. You can see the steam rising up already. It's about 1 hour and 45 minutes later, and she's doubled in size. I'm going to very carefully pour out the water that was creating the steam in this pan, and then I'm gonna put it back on the little third, because that's gonna be there to catch any drippings from our cinnamon crumble topping. A lightly floured work surface so that we can shape the dough. Out she comes. A little extra flour for the rolling pin. I don't know that I've ever worked with such well-proofed bread that just becomes the shape that it's supposed to be. What if that means I overproofed it? I don't like getting stuff on my hands. We're gonna take this pretty soft butter. We wanna leave like a 1/2 inch border on all sides, but otherwise we just want to spread this butter around. I don't think it needs to be like perfectly even or anything, but I like when things are nice. This is 1/3 cup of brown sugar and some cinnamon that I pre-prepared while the bread was proofing, but I didn't film it because I was talking on the phone. We're just gonna dump the whole thing and spread it out nice and even. But the cinnamon sugar goodness doesn't stop here, my friends. Not by a long shot. Now we roll the dough. You don't want any air pockets in there because air pockets are bad. As evenly as you can. Seam side down. We're gonna cut it in half lengthwise. Lengthwise. They suggest a serrated knife. I've got like 3 of these in the tavern that we could just like, seems like that's what I should do. But they recommend a serrated knife, so I'm gonna try a serrated knife and we'll see who's correct. Yeah, I don't think this is what I wanted at all. This seems bad. I feel like I'm ruining it. I think I was supposed to grease a loaf pan already too. Haven't done that yet. We're gonna make a little X, like so. And then tightly, it says twist them together. I'm gonna kind of just like plait it because that makes more sense in my brain. I mean, I guess I'll twist it. I'm just doing what they told me to do. And pinch the edges as best we can. Loaf pan, greased. Now we place our loaf in the pan. We're gonna use our same shower cap from earlier to cover this as it does its final rise. Now, while that's doing its final rise and we're preheating the oven to 350, we're gonna make our crumble topping for this loaf bread. Put shoes on. Can't look at my feet. You sick clock. 2 tablespoons unsalted butter melted, 1/3 of a cup of light brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of bread flour. Fork it. The oven is preheated. There's a pretty decent rise. Most recipes that I've done of bread say that you should wait until it's risen a 1/2 inch above the loaf pan, but I don't know this bread's life, so I'm gonna go ahead and spoon on this quote unquote crumble. It's really more of a paste, especially compared to the last crumble that we did. It'll be tasty and delicious. Synonyms. Into the oven. Because there's so much sugar in this bread and on top of this bread, it's gonna brown really quickly. So after 20 minutes, we're gonna throw a little tent of foil over the top and then let it go for another 25 minutes. And then hopefully we'll have bread. Yes! That is a work of art, if I do say so myself. And I do. So we're gonna let it cool for 10 minutes in the pan, and then we're gonna take it out of the pan and let it finish cooling on a wire rack. I can't guarantee that I will not slice it and try it after 10 minutes because I can't wait. That is a beautiful cross section. It is so absolutely beautiful. Let's see how it tastes. Listen, I know this series is new. For most of you, this is probably the first thing you've ever seen me make. The rest of you, it's the second thing. I've made quite a bit of bread. This might be the best bread I've ever made. Aside from the fact that, there's cinnamon and brown sugar on every corner, the bread itself is so soft and springy. It's got such a nice texture. This is an amazing dessert bread. Might be a little rich, honestly, for even like a breakfast bread, but we're gonna find out in the morning. It's basically an unglazed loaf of cinnamon roll. You can't beat that. The crumble has a nice crunch to it, which really contrasts perfectly with how soft the rest of the bread is. It is gooey in the center. I'm willing to bet that when it's been in like a day or two, cut off a slice, prestidigitate it to heat it up, maybe like 5-10 seconds, it's gonna be perfect every time. Let me know in the comments. Did I level up?